What up, YouTube? Yelkeve here. I'm just going to be talking about a little topic that's been going around. It's Digimon versus Pokemon. I've heard a lot of reviews and I've heard a lot of opinions, but I just wanted to throw mine out there. And I'm just going to be talking briefly about them, and then I'm going to say what I think about both of them and which one I think is the better. Alright, so I'm going to be talking first about Pokemon. Now, Pokemon is started off as a game. 1996 is when it came out here in the U.S., and then it aired as an anime in 1997. Uh, Follows this kid named Ash Ketchum from Palatown, and he one day decides, hey, I want to become a Pokemon master. So he goes out, just packs up, and then he goes out to get his first Pokemon, which ends up being Pikachu. And as he goes off into the world, he eventually meets up with Misty, who's the gym leader of the water gym, and then Brock, who's the leader of the rock gym. And then they become the trio throughout that season. And basically, what they do, not just in that season really, but just in any and throughout all the seasons, their main goal is to get the the gym badges, and then going into the league, and then Ash goes in and fights, and either he wins or loses, we don't know. But whichever happens, that's basically what happens throughout the entire thing. Throughout the series, though, the main characters change, except for Ash, obviously. He's the one that stays, but first it's like Ash, Brock, and Misty. Then it's Ash, May, Max, Brock. And then it's Ash, Brock, Max, Misty, and May. But then Misty leaves. And then finally it's Ash, Brock, and Dawn. That's the active ones right now, I believe. Games started off with red and blue, and then it just went on to yellow and sapphire and just a bunch of different colors. And as for their games, it's mainly about you going and getting the badges and training your Pokemon, and in the end fighting the Elite Four, and then you just get your Pokemon, you make them stronger and stronger. You can battle other people, which is a pretty cool idea. And as for the games, I think they were really good. A lot of people play them. I don't, but I hear it's pretty good. Alright, so next I'm going to be talking about Digimon. Now, Digimon as an anime first aired in the United States March 6, 1999, and it aired on the Fox Kids network. And it follows these 7 kids that are at summer camp, and the world basically right now is in some global warming problems because it's snowing where it shouldn't, and raining where it shouldn't, and not raining where it should, and just all these basically the world is out of whack. And while at the summer camp, they experience some snow where it shouldn't, and then basically a portal opens into the digital world, and they're flung in. And when they get there, they that's where they meet their Digimon. And then when they get their Digimon, and then that's basically where the story starts. The story really has to do with the Digidestin. That's what they're called, going out into the digital world and basically ridding it of evil forces that are taking place, and that's their mission while they're there. Now, as for the Digimon games, there were some that came out for PS1 and some other devices, and they were fun. They were okay, but obviously compared to Pokemon, it wasn't nearly as impressive as the Pokemon games were. Alright, well, now that I've given you guys some background on these two shows, I'm going to take each one and talk a little bit about their pros and cons. Alright, so we're going to start off with Pokemon. Well, Pokemon from the beginning, there's the group with Ash, and they're off trying to get into the Pokemon League, and there's all these battles going on, and Team Rocket and all that. It's all really good and everything. There's a sense of adventure, and the characters are pretty cool too. And you see all these Pokemon, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So I mean, it's from season 1 to some of season 2 and some other arcs. It's really good. The problem is that they never got away from it. It seems like all of Pokemon just has to do with them trying to specifically Ash trying to get badges to get into some tournament, and some occasional other things that happen to other characters. But besides that, I mean, the whole show is really about trying to catch them all and becoming a Pokemon master, which he's been trying for so long, and he does, and he it takes him this long to become a Pokemon master. I don't think it should take that long to become anything because he's just been going at it for so long. Another thing that I'd like to mention about this show is that there's not a whole lot of character development in it. I mean, Misty and Brock, you get some background, and there's a couple other characters, and Gary, Ash's rival, who actually does do some developing throughout the series. But Ash, he doesn't really change. I mean, you know that he's from Palatown. You know he has a mom, and you know he's 10, which is kind of strange. You let your child take on the world at such a young age, and then that's all you really know about him. Another thing is, I find this completely stupid that he trains his Pokemon and they become really powerful and everything, and then he just lets them go. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? I mean, what's wrong with? I don't understand it. All right. Well, next we have Digimon, specifically season 1. Now, what you have is you have the kids in the summer camp and they're sent into the digital world, and there's already a difference right there with Pokemon, where the Digimon children are chosen to save the digital world. Pokemon, Ash, he has a choice, which already changes the feel because Ash already has a sense of what he's getting into, where the Digidestined, they have no idea what's going on. So throughout the arcs, being like Devimon arc, then Edamon, then Myotismon, and finally the Dark Masters, throughout the entire season, you have the Digidestined. They grow up as people throughout the entire thing as they go through it. Whereas in Pokemon, both of them together, they start off as kids, and then Ash, he just kind of stays a kid. He becomes he becomes a better Pokemon trainer, but as a person, he just stays the same, really. Contrary to the Digidestined and Digimon, they actually grow up and become better people, and they learn a lot about themselves. Alright, so now we have Digimon Season 2, which takes place 4 years after Season 1. And in this season, the old Digidestined are now in high school. And that makes a good combination because you have the wisdom of the older Digidestined and you have the energy of the new Digidestined that coming in and taking over, helping out the digital world. And another thing that I like about this series is that you have these values that they're pushing for. Like you have courage, friendship, kindness, reliability. And you don't see a whole lot of it in Pokemon. Sure, you have the occasional courage, friendship, and but it's not as good as Digimon, and I think that's a big plus for the show. Okay, so I just want to touch on season 3 real quick because I think that out of all the seasons, this one has the most profound themes. Like, there's a lot, they talk about a lot of different things like death in a family and family problems, and as well as the death of an actual partner, which hasn't really happened before. And all these themes, I think, make it even more mature of a show because you don't see these kind of themes in Pokemon. Like a Pokemon, almost everything's perfect, you guys. I mean, he never has to worry about this Pokemon dying, or he doesn't have to worry about anything, any of those kind of things, because everything's really perfect in that world. And I think that Digimon really brings it down to earth, and that's how it makes it more relatable. One last thing is the music I want to touch on because oh my god, you guys, I'm talking original Japanese version. If you compare Digimon and Pokemon with their original Japanese songs, I have to say that Digimon takes the cake because it just comes out with really upbeat and really good music. Well, you guys, in the end, both of these shows have been extremely influential in our childhood. And while Pokemon is the better game, Digimon is the way better anime. And for all of you Digimon haters who think that Digimon is just a ripoff of Pokemon, let me just ask you guys this one question. What do you think would have happened if Digimon would have came first? Don't think that just because they both end with Mon that Digimon is a ripoff of Pokemon. They just stand for Pocket Monsters and Digital Monsters. Besides, which one sounds cool?
明日をかけてやるんだ to break up 新しいファイナル本当の始末さ君を君